The most bullish imminent thing on the chart. Welcome back to Crown's Clickbait O-Face Cave, and we got so much to discuss today as Bitcoin goes sideways in a motherfucking line. What do you know? How crazy is that? Imminent, crazy, what is the other words? What is the other superlatives that we can throw on top of this? I mean, absolutely nothing after being beaten to death like a fucking dead horse. Well, we'll think about that throughout the rest of this video. Anyways, with that said, I would like to wish you the best, and the happiest on this very early Tuesday morning over here from, once again, a negative 10 degrees Celsius, Helsinki, Finland. I have forgotten how to speak Fahrenheit because I actually just got my residence permit renewed. Fuck yeah, man. Ha! Very happy about that. Don't have to go back to shitty America. Sorry, just kidding. America's great, but I enjoy being here a little bit more. Anyways, it's like, you always know that some people can get like very offended from that. It's like, hey, just making a joke. It's a bad attempt at humor. That's all. Anyways, with that said, let's put the focus over here on the Crown Chain application. By the way, it's looking very different, isn't it? Looking very awesome right now. I posted a video on it last night. I do want to say a few things before we get into it. We are giving away a free technical analysis program upon launch of this. We want to build up our RG following as we expand our team. And with that said, in order to enter yourself into that, all you need to do is just follow us on all of our socials. That would be Twitter, that would be Instagram, and of course YouTube as well. And if you comment your handles in the description, or not the description, but in the comment section of the actual app video, which I uploaded last night, then you'll be entered in automatically to win that. So we are looking very much forward to that, and I wish you good luck, sir. Anyways, with that said, on to the actual Crown Chain application. Oh my god, I just can't get over how fucking good it looks. This is so fucking awesome. Anyways, and there's gonna be a lot of new things coming on it as well in a more serious tone, as we have some very big things planned. Anyways, first and foremost, what do we see? Bitcoin dominance heading down actually around 62%. So we have been seeing it steadily decline as Bitcoin holds a range, again playing into the rotational narrative of this market. I know I've been a broken record saying that, but that is a good thing, and that is what you want to see for the greater rally to continue, as Bitcoin does seem to put in a nice efficacious base above that $30,000 level. More importantly, we do see that well, maybe not more importantly, but Fear and Greed Index hanging around the 76 marker, same as yesterday as we saw. And then what else? I believe we have open interest down here, pretty much stock standard from what we saw yesterday as well. Too, we do see it just above 5 billion, that is. Now, the cool things is that we can go into the market data tab over here, and with that in mind, we can actually get a chart for this. And as we actually have already been requested, and just so you know, if you actually do have legitimate requests for, like, what's an illegitimate request? But if you do have, a request for this app that you think would, really help it out, feel free to post it in the especially in the comment section and whatnot, as we do read that, and we want to like make this better for everyone, not just ourselves. And someone actually already brought up a really good one in essentially combining a price action chart with the open interest chart right here, so you can match them up, and then you can set alerts on that as well. Anyways, with that said, we can see that the open interest chart is really rounding this off as a reaccumulation phase, at least on first pass right now. Again, as long as Bitcoin does hold the structural low, but we do see that anytime that Bitcoin, or not anytime, but we do see that when Bitcoin does come down to that $30,000 level, we have seen positions added, and essentially we have seen open interest dropping as Bitcoin does essentially sell off, from the $40,000 level. More importantly, what does that play into? It plays into that longs are essentially taking profit, and if longs are taking profit, then they are still running this market. We don't really expect to see a major reversal until, one, we see, a breakage of structure here, aka creating a downtrend. That would be your closures below that $30,000 to $31,000 region, which we'll highlight soon enough. And then more importantly, we want to see open interest follow through with that as well as volume too. So both of those we expect to go up if that is going to change the overall narrative of the market. Until that happens, it's more or less just reaccumulation the way that I look at it. How long can it take? Well, it can take a little bit longer. It can take infinitely longer, really. Well, maybe not infinitely, but at least it does play into the healthy niche read in this market for the time being, as long as those conditions are met. Moving on, what do we see? Bitcoin dominance kind of, actually we should put this on a different scale, because this is a little bit, looks very muted here, although technically correct, but hanging right around that 6% region, as you do see. What else? In funny rate, okay, yes, the funny rate changing around a lot since we last looked yesterday. FTX way the fuck out there again, but actually did come down compared to where we were yesterday at 0.13%, now at about 0.074. We do see that Bybit's at 0.063. So neither of these are above the threshold. Yes, they are creeping up a bit, but that is not damning in and of itself, at least in the way that I look at it. So yes, people are paying to, people are paying to hold these long positions, absolutely, but they're not high enough to where I think it actually really does matter, at least historically speaking. That is above 0.1 with multiple exchanges, yeah, usually problems, but as it is right now, no, I would not say so. Anyways, I think that's it for now. I need to go through and customize this, but I'm actually in the process of preparing for a bit of a ski trip, not tomorrow, but the day after that, which would be Thursday. Yeah, there we go. Anyways, you can play around with this as much as you want in the meantime. And like I said, a lot of new things coming in relatively soon. So we're pretty happy about that. Any events we should be aware of today, tomorrow? There just looks like a bunch of shitcoin stuff, but that's great. Everyone loves shitcoins. We should probably put like macroeconomic events in this as well. In fact, that would be a really good idea. Okay. All right. Learning as we go. Anyways, back to the dashboard over here, and I will leave it on that one. And oh yes, we also do have a sale going on for the grand debut of the new application. That'll be going on for another day, and there you go. Anyways, I'll come back to it a little bit later and explain it in detail, as I'm in the flow right now, man. I don't want to stop. All right, so let's go into the actual price action charts themselves. Here we go. Pop back in, and first and foremost, I want to start off with the higher term timeframes, because I do believe that is most important. And importance is obviously relevant, but I think for the average person watching a channel like this, I think most people are actually more long-term looking. Even though I myself am a trader, and many people in this community are traders, if I'm like actually looking at the general list, it seems like most people are generally looking long-term, and just want to know if number goes up. So fair enough. Looking at this right here, this is your monthly chart. This is your macro chart, essentially. M stands for macro, if you will, at least for now. And as it stands, Bitcoin is still trending above the top side Toronto band. This is this has been the case ever since October, of course. And as long as that condition is met, I look at this as trend in progress, meaning expansion in progress. And in this case, well, that would be more upside. Now, does that mean that we go more upside like today? No, this is a fucking monthly, so we're operating on a monthly schedule. And when we're operating on a monthly schedule, we're thinking like really like 3 to 4 months down the road, realistically, is kind of my rule of thumb. So with that in mind, yes, I do still think that Bitcoin can very easily come back down and test the top side of the Toronto band, but guess where that is? Right above 30,000 bucks. So I'd look at that as an opportunity. It'd also be a backfill in last month open as well, so a nice little natural backstop right there. And on top of that, we do see something that's very, 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 very powerful here. Something that I only reference once every, well, a couple times every month just to do for videos. Oh, by the way, I should discuss this as well. Very happy about that one. Mr. Caretaker at it again, although he's been at it for a while, so fair enough. Let me just take a sip of this water, though. I'm really damn thirsty right now. All right, there we go. Okay, so the accumulation distribution indicator over here, this one's, by the way, 100% free, as all are the indicators that I'm using on this current chart. Anytime that we see a slope change on this, on the monthly specifically, no other fucking time frame do I care about. So before you send me the goddamn hourly and say, Crown, are we bearish? Don't. It doesn't matter on the hourly. On the monthly, however, anytime that we do see a slope change, doesn't matter if it's red or green, Christmas, go fuck yourself, but anytime we see a slope change, we do see a macro shift in the actual direction of Bitcoin. Of course, naturally speaking, anytime we see an upward slope, we do see that Bitcoin is in a general bullish market. I mean, this is coming in from May of 2020. That would be the switch up from basically coronavirus dump times at about 8,000 bucks to where we are right now, actually. And as you can see, this last tick that we got from January to February is once again retaining that positive slope. Yes, it did lose its curvature, so you'd imagine that that's going to be obviously true as Bitcoin gets its first sideways consolidation since really, breaking out from like 11,000 bucks. And now we run into the question of, does this actually continue is the word that I'm looking for. Now, of course, just to kind of back this a little bit more and show you what can we see over here. January 2020 actually got a downward slope. What happened right around there? That was actually literally right before the coronavirus dump times. It's been another month or so, kind of hanging around the $10,000 level, and then boom, red dildo party all the way down to 4,000 bucks. About before that, we did see a bit of a slope change from, what was this, January 2019. January 2019 was after the $6,000 to $3,000 dump right here, precipitating the major run from about 3,000 to 14,000, as you can see. And then, of course, getting a negative slope back all the way in March 2018, while everyone was looking at this as a fucking flag and it's like ridiculous to begin with, or some sort of a falling wedge, which I almost never see work out in cryptocurrencies, by the way. I did essentially tell you about this as turning megally bearish way the fuck back on over here. Anyways, you can back test this one yourself, but pretty much the same thing goes true all the way through. And more importantly, right now we do see that, yes, again, it still retains that positive slope. So I do have the overall bias coming into this month of February that we do at least see another attempt towards 40,000 bucks. And if I did have to call it right now, well, if I'd go with the former, then I would essentially be looking for further upside over time. Now, with that in mind, at some point, obviously this will, fade it and, and go the other direction. But for right now, I still go with the former until proven otherwise. As you can see, these signals typically play out for months at a time. And so there's no real rush to fade one before it actually does indeed happen. Also on top of that, DMI Plus is very much still dominant. Yes, we did lose some curvature right here as well, but ADX very, 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 very strong. And then the MACD, now the MACD is very interesting to me right here because the histogram is continuing to increase. And if the histogram isn't continuing to increase, I really don't have any reason to be looking for a macro breakdown as well. What do I mean by that? Well, if you do go back in time, we do see that anytime it starts to, I just refer to it as like lessening its grip, but this off color right here is what that represents, is usually a bit of a phase shift as well. You can see that the last time that we had this was August 2019. That was coming after the $14,000 run right here, getting ready for, well, coronavirus sometimes, I guess, but even just the 14,000 to 7,000, or sorry, $6,500 move right here, pretty fucking, worthwhile in my opinion. On top of that, you do see the same one over here after the $6,000 to $3,000 dump in 2018, 2019. It did start to shift in February. That was on the literal lows of about 3,500 bucks before getting ready for 14,000 right here. And then before that, you see that it actually did the same thing to the downside, of course, from about $20,000 high right here all the way throughout basically 2018. So once again, as long as it stays lit up in that color, even though it's incredibly fucking overdone here, even though it's incredibly fucking aggressive, even though it's incredibly fucking like tuned up, I still stick with that because it can't get crazier. At least that's what I've learned in the past. So right now, you should also, you'll probably also be noticing that there's a bit of an info box right here. Caretaker has gone ahead and made a full-on reverse function for this, and that is to your benefit, as you can go and use it. You can just find it here in the public section. Just type in Caretaker. Well, let's see. I think if you just type in Caretaker, it'll bring up everything of his, but sometimes it's a little bit finicky on the public library here. Yeah, but here you go. Where exactly is this one? Because he actually has two of them. Motherfucker, where is it? Actually, seriously, where is it though? That's bizarre. That's bizarre. Well, I'm sure if well, maybe you got to type in Caretaker MACD. It's so bizarre the way that they do things sometimes. Or Caretaker reverse. God damn it. Oh, I see. Okay, it's got to be CT probably. CTMACD. Let's try that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and it's I believe it's this one right here. It's one that I'm using that's populating this info box. Let me just double check if I click on this. No, it's actually this one right here. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so I'm gonna unhighlight this one because this is the big one that I really want to be focusing on, because I just prefer it in pane view. It just makes more sense with my brain, but some people would rather have it on the chart itself. If that's the case, then go for the other one, but not for me. I prefer it in this view right here. Anyways, as you can see, there's some very interesting things going on right here. Not necessarily for the monthly, because it's nowhere near, like, it's nowhere near really crossing anything else. But if we go over to, say, perhaps like a lower time frame, like a weekly, then we start to run into some interesting information here. See that the weekly MACD is actually continuing to rise as long as above 33,121. Remember that number. Obviously, the cross below the EMA signal line is probably not happening like today, unless we go down below 13,000 bucks. I mean, that's obviously, take like a month or two to actually happen. But if we go down to a daily, this is where I start to get a little more interested in this, and keep these numbers in mind here, because this daily will actually start to cross the upside above 37,865, and that is very interesting because that's actually right around your last little prior wick high right here from the Elon Musk fake out, if you will. And I'd even just go as far as saying that if Bitcoin even gets back around there, I'd be bullish, you might say, bullish for new all-time highs, as we would see the MACD turn up. This would look very obviously like a bullish reset. I mean, I think it's very likely looking like one right now, actually. And the ADX DMI is also preparing a signal here. Now, the thing with the ADX DMI right now at this level is, as you can see, the DMI minus and the DMI plus are very close to the threshold. So we actually don't have a reverse function for this one. Although it wouldn't be as interesting as well. It's just, you know, you just kind of want to know the threshold, and it's like, okay, well, where do you want your threshold? Oh boy, that's gonna be a whole nother fucking mega class, I guess. But more importantly with this, you know, I would expect to see one of these go dominant first, obviously, and the ADX strength. And if it comes from this level, it's very likely to be the next major move. And in this case, if that comes to the downside, that means we probably actually do not just test $30,000 again, but likely break it. And by contrast to the upside, it doesn't mean that we are, you know, very likely imply that not only do we test back up to about 40,000 bucks, very likely break it to the upside as well. So we are preparing a major signal right here. We are preparing an actual breakout, but how much longer can Bitcoin go sideways within this region? That's something that I'd actually put, or that's something that I'd want to refer to historical volatility percentile for, of which you can find over here. And let's see what we're looking like on the daily, going into a bit of a contraction phase right here. So this can take a little bit longer, as contraction phase usually does equate to consolidation, especially on a time frame like this, but or sorry, less so on a time frame like this. But let's see what the 12-hour says. Yeah, about the same areas as well. And I'm curious what the 4-hour says. Very low. So by contrast, the 4-hour more or less getting the range in the way that I look at it right now, and like the 12-hour daily getting the greater move outside of that range. And the range for this whole structure right now, as it has been for like the last almost 2 months now, is basically between about 30,500 to the downside and about 40,000 to the upside. Nothing too crazy, nothing too sexy, but you know, it is what it is you know, at the current moment. Is there anything else that I want to cover over here on the secondary charts? I don't think so, unless there's some on the 2-day. 2-day still preparing a signal as well. ADX is still continuing here. Do we get another tick tonight? No, we do not. Oh, actually, we just got a fresh tick. So technically, the ADX is above the threshold now. The DMI plus is dominant, but I want to see it get a positive slope. So it is essentially suggesting that if Bitcoin is going to retain its bullishness right now, we do probably see continuation within these next 48 hours, as it's right there. At least it's present, it's possible. And the 3-day, I think, is closing tonight. Yes, it is closing tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Check this one out over here. Kind of similar going on as well, but I really want to see it get a positive slope. If that happens, that's going to be a clear and obvious signal as well that Bitcoin's going to, you know, very likely pop back up and test the $40,000 high of this current structure right here. And again, the 3-day chart is one that I really like right now. This one is, I shouldn't say this in a more direct sense. Of course, let's preface this by saying this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Blah 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 blah. SEC, go fuck yourself. Just kidding. Don't go fuck yourself. Also, don't fuck me, please. Anyways, they have a very long and powerful BBC-sized dildo that you do not want to be touched by. I can tell you that. Anyways, looking at this right here, this is the one that really shapes up this whole thing as reaccumulation for me. With the way that this chart looks. Anyways, let's go back on over here to our regular charts, and let's go down the lower term timeframes. And I remember yesterday that I did say that, you know, I was basically looking for Bitcoin to go sideways and down. Would I still be looking for that right now? Do I still think it's possible? Yeah, I do still think it's possible. But as you can see, a bit of a line chart. We really haven't had much of a move outside of even the short term time frame range. So to me, you know, the way that I typically operate as a trader is I say, hey, you know, we just test the resistance. Typically, we're going to go back down and test support after that. But you know, after yesterday, even with the advent of yesterday, we're not really getting much on top of that. So what I would be going off of right now is momentum oscillators, because as long as these conditions are met, well, naturally speaking, the momentum will remain to the upside. And yes, we can, or at least it's not, I would be looking at this as, fuck, I just lost my train of thought. What I'm trying to say is that I'd be using the lower term time frames right now for spot price action, because it is Tuesday and typically they do come in line with CME. So let's just double check. Here's a spot, 34,000 bucks on the 4-hour. Here's CME's 35. Actually, they're motherfucker. How dare they? Okay, well, I'm going to go with CMEs right here just because that is typically the one that does play out better. And what do we have? We do have this trend line coming in from our last couple lows within this current structure. That's the 22nd of January, and that's the 27th of January. Let's go see where that is on price action. 22nd is right here on this low. 27th is on this low right here. So make no mistake about it. It is, well, related to each other. Now, with that in mind, if we do come back down and test this trend line officially, which is right at the edge of the bearish control zone, I would be looking for it on first pass to give a little bit of a a little bit of a pickup, meaning that Bitcoin probably does try to put in a bit of a low. So with that in mind, we do see that $35,000 is a pivot right now for the 4-hour on CMEs. Is that also a pivot on price action? It is. Yes, it is actually, because this would be your last little this would be your last structural high right here, just below 35,000 bucks. So obviously, if Bitcoin does get back above this level, especially close above this level, I'd even say 34.7 on CMEs. On spot price action, it's going to be 34,500. Then we will see momentum oscillators naturally remain to the upside, and I'd stick with what I said yesterday in saying that this is the pivot for the medium-term timeframes now. And if Bitcoin does take it to the upside, I'd be looking for a nice move all the way up here towards about well, on CME it's going to be like almost 38,000 bucks. On spot price action, it'll be more like 37,500 right here. Probably small pullback from there, but ultimately, just by getting back above here, this is going to look very, 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 very good. Nothing bearish about retesting this area right here, except for the short term. You know, maybe a slight pullback, and then continuation is very much implied back up to the top side of the range, which is anywhere between 40 and 41,000 bucks. You know, does Bitcoin break out after that? Probably yes. Probably yes. Are we in the T-Nerd session? We are. Okay, yeah, it's very likely to break out to the upside if that condition is met. I'll put it that way. But of course, should still be defensive against a downside move, just because, you know, weird things in this market do happen. And we have a big event coming up here too, not just the Crown Trading application overhaul, but also Ethereum's going to be getting its CME futures in just a few days here, I believe on Monday, which I'll be coming back on that day for my little ski trip. So I'll have no open positions for this, but basically that is typically a bit of an event that I would rather avoid, especially coming after Bitcoin's CME debut back in 2017. Now, there are other events going on in this market, like the Coinbase IPO. I do think that actually holds quite a fair bit of weight, and probably even more so than the Ethereum futures debut. So, you know, can we go into a rotational market where someone else takes the lead for a while after that? Probably yes. Or at least I think it's certainly a possibility. We don't have the same sort of dynamics as 2017, but if Bitcoin does break below, again, 30,500, especially on a daily or wherever the 55 is on the daily here, yeah, about 30,500 now, which has been getting our lows, by the way, wick 1, wick 2, then I would be looking for a drive down to the $23,000 to $24,000 level. Do I think that that's what's going to happen here? No, I don't. But if that did happen, that would be my response to that price action. As always, it's good to have a plan, even if you don't think it's likely to happen. In this case right here, do I still think that Bitcoin might have some short-term downside? Well, I'd go as far, I don't think that's for me to say right now, because right now the momentum oscillator is just kind of telling you the story here, right? We see the 4-hour Stokes will cross the downside as long as we close below 34,000 bucks. Well, where's Bitcoin right now? 33,900 about, with just about 3 hours left to closure. So that's not really all that helpful. But let's see what the other time frames are suggesting right now. 3 hours still suggests a little bit of downside pressure as long as you're below 33,750. Currently Bitcoin about 100 bucks above that with an hour to go till closure. What about buy hourly right here? We do see staying to the downside as long as below 34 to 25, and that is closing in about 55 minutes as well. So 2 and 3 hour at the same time, and hourly obviously there at the same time as well. This remains me to the upside as long as above 33,650-ish region. So we do see bifurcation between all of these essentially. By the way, HVP on hourly is incredibly fucking low right here, meaning that we are probably looking for a move, not just to test one of these sides, but if it does test the upside, I mean, that probably has enough oomph to break it at that point. To the downside, it just implied test down here, not a breakage, however, and that would be anywhere between about 30,500 and 31,000 bucks. And again, I'd be looking at that as an opportunity. So the main message that I want to be having in a video like this is, do I think Bitcoin could have some short-term downside? It very, very obviously could, but I'd be looking at that as an opportunity with a very obvious risk management point right below this level right here if I am playing the long-term structure. This is not fair advice. Anyways, to the upside, again, same sort of criteria as yesterday. Could also just use this high of the consolidation thus far. It's not going to be as accurate, but I do think that it probably is warranted to be a bit more aggressive within this region. Or, if you want to be a little more conservative, maybe this high right here, 34,872.5. If Bitcoin even just ticks above there, do I think that it's going to 37.5? very likely yes. Maybe not on the same fucking hourly dildo, but over time, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay, let's see. What else do we have on RSI right here? RSI, sideways and up, playing out some hidden bullish divergence, also resolving it with some bearish divergence at the same time. I'd be looking for this to actually pull through here. This is starting to shape up as, once again, a constructive read. I do like how it's responding in the neutral zone. Let's see what the 3 hour says as well. Let's see if that is continued here. Yes, indeed it is. What about the bi-hourly? Yes, indeed it is. What about the hourly? Yes, indeed it is. So all good in the hood right there. And let's just confirm that this is present on CMEs as well. CME is showing a little bit more of a bullish look on the immediate picture, actually. But what are we looking like over here? Because momentum oscillators were quite different. Yeah, so the 4 hour Stochs is what I really be watching for on CMEs, right? I do think that this is the correct thing to be looking at right now, actually. 3 hours showing about the same thing, 34,400-ish region, bi-hourly showing 33.5, and hourly showing 33.6. So they're all building upon each other, but I want to see the 4 hour follow through as well. If that happens, very likely Bitcoin will pull to the upside here, and in 33 or 37.5 would be the next natural area that I'd be looking for. Other than that, I'm not seeing too much difference between spot and CMEs. So we'll go over to the 12 hour, and of course, playing out some bullish divergence coming off the lows from this area. And it's actually, no, that's certainly already played out. Sorry, that is irrelevant right now. 12 hour momentum does remain to the upside as long as Bitcoin is above 33,850-ish region. Let's just double check right here. Yeah, very, very similar actually. About 34,100 on spot price action, and will reject the bearish control zone once again. If that condition is met, it very likely does have the next move to the upside here. On top of that, we do see that 12 hour RSI retaining that constructive, that constructive nature right there as well. So I do like all of this. And the daily, do we see the same thing? We do, yes. Daily momentum remains to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 32,100. So all is good in the hood right there as well. And obviously this is coming off of a test of this long-term trend line going all the way back from, by the way, I guess I already have it in there. But going all the way back to March of this year. That was your coronavirus dump time. So that was when Bitcoin was down around about 4,000 bucks, connected with our lows in September. September was the next accumulation phase, way the fuck back on over here, when Bitcoin spent about a month and a half trading sideways before, well, breaking out and seeing this massive rally that we're experiencing right now. And then once again, hitting this trend line here as Bitcoin bases upon 30,000 bucks. So I do like this, and this does once again speak towards the long term. And as long as this kind of remains up right here, I do favor the more immediate upside actually as well. By daily, do we see anything of particular interest? We just got a new tick on this one, and oh yes, so the buy daily is now really starting to build upon the really starting to build upon itself actually, as we will see momentum oscillators turn back up with any sort of a closure above 34,300. Again, not closing tonight, but tomorrow night. So, you know, kind of right around the corner there. If that condition is met, I'd feel pretty damn confident saying that Bitcoin is not just going to test 37.5, but probably 40,000 bucks again, or sorry, $40,000 again. And that would obviously be met, or sorry, that would obviously be encompassed by, we'll just close on new highs above this little consolidation right here, which on the shorter term time frames, again, it's 34,500 to the upside versus about 30,500 to the downside, or the 21 on the buy daily right here, depending upon which time frame that you're using. Again, I really wouldn't mind another test back down around here. I do think that it's certainly possible. I would just look at it as an opportunity. I don't have a strong opinion on whether it happens or not. We do just see, you know, we essentially just see kind of a sideways range here that's baking, getting very close, but I don't think it's there just yet. I don't think that we see resolution today, actually. 3 day. Oh, actually, also should mention, buy daily did confirm hidden bullish divergence, which with yesterday's close, I would have said that was confirmed a couple, close before that, but fair enough. You know, depending upon how conservative you are, all good. And what do we see on 3 day? We do see that 3 day, which again is closing tonight, actually is, well, yeah, it's probably not going to happen, but 38,000 bucks is the magical number on this one. And also I would say that this is going to confirm hidden bullish divergence with, I would say that it's already confirmed it, but any sort of a closure, especially above 34.5, which again comes into confluence with the shorter term timeframes, is going to confirm that. And we would have 1, 2, 3 drives coming off this low right here, holding into the bullish control zone. That'd be a very fucking strong read once again. So all of that would imply move back up at the very least. I shouldn't say at the very least, but very likely to $40,000. Does it also imply a breakout to the upside? Yeah, it does. Well, Very likely does. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Let's go check out the rest of this market. Let's go see what NASDAQ's doing. NASDAQ popping back up. So it looks like we did get that short-term move to the upside, actually overshooting my target a little bit here. I think I said a little bit above 13 yesterday. Looks like we got that, now exceeding it. I'd be looking for it to pull back here, though. I do think that it comes back down towards 13.2 short-term. And but is this the time to switch around here? This would be your proverbial dead cat bounce. Well, it's not necessarily dead cat, but this would be your proverbial kind of short bounce here as it does get up. I'm going to guess that this is probably right around the 618 if I take a retracement on this. Let's just double check. What do you fucking know? 618 right there on closures. Nice one. All right. Anyways, my point is that I'd be looking for this one to trade back down actually today, probably back down to about 13,150 or 13,200-ish region. Still, it's not like NASDAQ's not that problematic to me. It's SPY that I have some issues with. I got some issues with you, SPY. Bearish divergence, 1, 2, 3, 4 stabs coming in all the way from back on over here. On top of that, we do see a bearish engulfing. Plus, we do see momentum also is turning down. I don't like all of these things happening together. Now, while we were looking for a short-term move to the upside yesterday, I'd be looking at the same thing right here. This is very likely to produce, or actually, are we likely? Yeah, we do have hidden bearish divergence as potential right here, but needs to confirm a local high. That'll be confirmed with any sort of an hourly closure below 37.78 and a quarter. If that happens, I'll be looking for another move back down, probably back down here actually, 37.50, and ultimately, I do think. Well, no, I'll just say that for now. I'll just say that for now. Now, at the same time, if this thing does close above 38.40 today, new all-time highs, I guess. It even has some hidden bullish divergence building right here too. Motherfucker, man. Oh, that is crazy. Okay, so let's say that if we do close below the, or sorry, if we do close above the 21 today, or especially above the 10 simple, which is about $3,800. This thing's not just going to test the all-time high. This thing's going to make new all-time highs, and the reversal gets postponed once again. Jesus Christ, man, the market that never stops. Okay, let's see. What else do we got? Do I want to look at altcoins today? Not really. I don't really ever want to look at altcoins, actually. Let's look at Ethereum, though. Ethereum's still very, 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 very close to breaking out. Oh, what's this? Once again, another test on the 21 exponential moving average. But I hear that moving average bullshit doesn't work. Wait a second. Is it just telling me about the trend? No. The amount of mental gymnastics that people would do is just never ceases to amaze me. Anyways, momentum also is turning up here. So I'm starting to favor Ethereum once again for a breakout. And I think that Ethereum leads this market on this next move, actually. Just looking at Ethereum right now, do I think that this market heads to the upside? Yes, I do. I'll just lay it out straight and simple right here. 1300, as long as that condition is met, momentum also stayed to the upside in the bullish control zone, playing out some hidden bullish divergence, and at the top of a bullish reaccumulation formation in the form of an ascending triangle, which does have the measure move pointed up towards the 2-spot extension. Great confluence right there, just below $1,700. Do I think that things actually stop there? No, I almost never see things stop there from a formation like this. Usually guns for like the 414, the 618, and that's a little bit below $2,000. Not going to happen the same 5-minute dildo, but probably over time. Looks very, 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 very good here as once again just following the uptrend. And now what we can say is that no longer is this your last higher low right here. I'd say that this is your last higher low, or right around about 1240-ish region. So as long as it maintains price action above 1240, I am immediately bullish, and I am looking for this one to give a legitimate try to the upside. Any sort of a closure today above about $1,400, I'd say that is fully confirmed. However, I'd even say that even this condition being met over here on the daily is going to be good enough for me, and look for that next nice leg up. Now, if this one does want to have a downside stint, natural target would be, again, thinking that Bitcoin, also comes down as well, then I'd be looking somewhere around about $1,200 for a little bit of a bounce right there, and then I'd want to see it in real time. But for right now, this one looks more or less fine. 4-hour momentum oscillators all around the board looks good to me. 4-hour Stokes, 4-hour RSI, all good. 12-hour, all good. Daily, all good. Yeah. I'm bullish here, and if I had to call it right now, yeah, I do think that it breaks the upside. Actually, Ethereum's kind of the star of the show right now. In fact, if anything, also Ethereum versus Bitcoin, looking to me like it wants a bit of a bounce, probably back up to the 200 simple, somewhere around about 4,320,000 satoshis. And does it actually break to the upside after that? I do think that long term it's going to be headed up towards about 6 million plus. Looking at the monthly right here, this is very fucking powerful closure. I do think that it could very easily come down to 3,750,000 Satoshis as well, but that would be an obvious opportunity, at least on the first pass. I have no issues with this as it is. I would be looking at any sort of major downside as an opportunity. So fair enough. Anyways, do we have anything else that we want to talk about here? Oh yeah, let's go check out Careticker's ranges right now. Wow, very fucking tight right now. But here's the thing, and if you do have access to this indicator, I want to highlight this fact right now. So you see that HVP on the hourly is incredibly low here. So when you're seeing something like that and you're looking at the ranges, yes, these ranges are technically right. You do see 34.5 to the upside. That's exactly what we have as well. To the downside, 32.8. I would disagree with that. I would say that that's a little bit lower. But obviously, when volatility is very low, these ranges are going to be naturally collapsed upon each other, meaning that once we actually see expansion, when price action fucking moves, then they're going to naturally, well, open up, and to the upside that would obviously be met by, well, continuation drive by fulfilling the medium-term time frame breakout, and to the downside that that would likely expand somewhere down around here to our prior lows, anywhere between, like I said, about 30,500 to 31,000 bucks. Anywhere around there looks good to me. But right now it's looking like the short-term upside is starting to get favored once again, and you've just seen me kind of flip-flop the last few days. Like a little bit of upside implied here, a little bit of downside implied here, but still want to see the actual breakage of the range. Now starting to get a little bit more mature. So I think that we're pretty damn close. Probably not today, or maybe Ethereum today. Actually, Ethereum's very fucking close. What's the word that I'm looking for? I don't know. Lost my words. My words is gone. My words has gone astray. Don't know what to fucking do with them anymore. Let's just go back to Ethereum over here and let's prepare. Oh wow. By the way, I didn't even catch this on the first pass, but Ethereum closing on new all-time highs for the monthly. That might be considered bullish. There is nothing bearish about this chart at all. This thing can come down, and it'd just be an opportunity. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I said it. I said it, motherfucker. I said it. Where's the chart that I was referencing before, though? There it is. Found you. Found you, little shit fuck. All right. Hey, there we go. Okay. Cool. All right, so let's leave this on right here. Let's go back to this one. I think we're going to do a bit of a focus on Ethereum today, just because, well, it probably plays into Bitcoin. All right, alrighty you. Do we want to do it here? Let's wrap this bitch up. But hold on. Yeah, I might as well do this one. Let's wrap this bitch up. Focus on Ethereum today, as Ethereum is very, very close to the upside resolution. We are still baking in this ascending triangle formation, which is a bullish reaccumulation formation. Doesn't mean that it's always guaranteed to break out to the upside, but it does have a stronger probability to do such things. About a 68% if my memory serves me correctly. More importantly, with this, we can make a measure moved upon this, and that would be pointed up all the way north towards about, well, let's call it 1,800 bucks. Now, of course, do I think that things actually stop there? No. In fact, it'd be a little bit unlikely. At least in my experience, usually it's going to gun a little bit higher for the 414, the 6-weight in cases like this. So that's more around like 2,000 bucks. Anyways, as it stands right now, I'm more than happy to be bullish on Mr. Beaterall as long as he is above the 20-month exponential average, of which we have gotten yet again another test yesterday, and this is currently governing our lows or our higher low structure. That also does imply that if Ethereum does break below this, it will destroy that higher low structure, and then I would be willing to switch around my overall bias on this one to bearish, looking for moves back down to 1,000 bucks, probably small bounce there, and then continuation implied well below 1,000 bucks, we'll call it for right now. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's what's happening here, but if that were to happen, that would be my response to this price action. Anyways, moving on, we do see that momentum oscillators are in a nice position right now. We do see that daily Stokes will remain to the upside, also in the bullish control zone, as long as we had a closure above 1,300, currently trading 1,385. So if that condition is met, I do think that this is extremely likely to resolve the upside. We have pattern, we have formation, we have trend, and then we also have momentum right now. So that is all baking, and even on lower term timeframes, it does look like it might even have a chance sooner rather than later. So fair enough. Again, assuming that these conditions are met, then yes. And if it does come back down and actually take out the 21 to the downside, then I would switch on to more bearish in the short term. Now, with that in mind, keep in mind that Ethereum does have an event next Monday for its CME future debut, and I usually do see these events get rallied up into and then dumped on the event, or maybe like a week after the event, somewhere around there. So do I think that Ethereum has a few free days of rallying? Yes, I do. And in this case, well, it's so fucking close to the upside resolution, I would be essentially just bullishly biased here. What does that mean for Bitcoin? It means for Bitcoin that the short-term time frame ranges are more or less the same as yesterday at 34,500 for your upside resolution right here. If that condition is met, or just taking out the wick high of this consolidation, which is 34,872.5, I would be looking for a move to 37.5. Probably a small pullback there, and then continuation very likely implied to the top side of the range, which is anywhere between about 40,000 and 41,000 bucks. Now, this is very interesting to me right now because we do see a lot of things baking over here. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the monthly on Mr. Bureau as well. We did close on new all-time highs and also trending above the top side Toronto band. You know, compare that with Bitcoin, which has been doing the same, and you can kind of see the result from there as well. Anyways, going back on over here, I do want to also say that I'm not super compelled by this, by the short-term timeframes right now. Above this area, I am short-term, medium-term bullish. I just have a general bullish bias on Bitcoin because, well, it's been in a fucking uptrend since, well, basically since coronavirus sometimes, really, but especially since September. And could it come back down and graze the $31,000 level or $30,500 level right here? Yes, but I would look at that first and foremost as an opportunity. And of course, if this area does break, I would get bearish on it, looking for a move all the way down to 23 to 24,000 bucks. But only if that condition is met, nothing else. On top of that, I do want to say that daily Stokes still remain to the upside right here. Daily RSI still looking good, still looking very constructive. And going back on over here, it should be noted that, was it on the daily? Yeah, daily MACD will cross the upside above 37.5 about as well, and that will obviously change. But keep in mind, this signal baking on the daily for the ADX DMI, that's going to be another big one for me as well. So obviously, I think that Ethereum leads here, and if Ethereum breaks the upside, probably going to see Bitcoin as well. This is really shaping up to be a bullish reset, in my opinion. And of course, I should also denote that the monthly was really the key in this one as well, retaining that positive slope on the accumulation distribution indicator, as that has been the key and, well, one of the keys in kind of deciding the macro trend for, well, the history of Bitcoin so far, and that retains its positive slope as the ADX DMI remains in a bullish setting right here, and even the MACD histogram continues to increase its momentum, even though this is like a really, really egregious read right now, and at some point it will snap back, obviously, but as long as we're trending above the top side Toronto band, I'm just generally bullish on this asset for now. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to sign off right there. I want to wish you the best of the best. Take care, and until next time. Oh, actually, by the way, should talk about the sale right now as well. For all the people who are still here, only the TA nerds at this point, which is really the only kind of people who should be getting in this, and that's fucking awesome. Thank God, Brian. Yeah, he put in like this one is advanced, like, really. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get into it. I'm just saying that really consider it first and foremost, because for most people it's just not going to be relevant. And I even say that about the TA program as well. Like, these programs are really designed in a more professional sense for someone who wants to do this as well, in the same way that I do, like as a living, not for like diddly daddling, which, fair enough. I understand that people have like all sorts of different lifestyles and whatnot. Like, not everyone wants to be a fucking trader, and most people want like a normal job, because being a trader is a little bit insane sometimes, and I totally understand that. But my point is, by looking at this, or sorry, the point that I'm trying to make here with this is that with these programs, make sure that one is applicable to you. Watch the videos, because they're going to go into detail on that. What I can say right now to kind of, shuffle people in and out is saying, hey, make sure you have enough time. They're very fucking long, especially these two, 40 hours, especially for this one about 30 to 35 hours, I believe it is. And they're going to require a lot of time. They're not magic pills. They're going to take, usually I find about a year to a year and a half for people who are actually like putting the effort to become consistently successful. Yes, there have been some people who are faster than that, but I don't want to make it sound like that's normal. It's certainly not. The neophyte initiation to trading is very, 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 very beginner friendly. That is the one that I'd go for if like I didn't even know what a fucking exchange was or how to operate one. That's the program for you. Although it also could be that you're above the level of content in there, but it will also net you a discount on the other programs if you decide to move up and you're just unsure and you just kind of want to dip your toesy woesies into the water for now. Jewel indicator, this one. This one's one of my favorite pieces of edge that I try to keep secret in some ways, but offer to you right there as well. And we have PineScript Mastery. This is the PineScript Mastery program from Mr. Mournfall himself. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right there. The guy who actually made this application, or one of the guys who helped make this application, also a Jewel indicator as well. And he'll teach you how to make indicators in PineScript, which is native to TradingView. Caretakers RSI, this one. I use it every fucking day. needs no explanation. SEC, same thing. Needs no explanation. I use it every fucking day, mostly for scalping and whatnot. And then we have Jackie's programs over here. He has the Psychology of Trading, which is going to be a video program going over, psychology essentially with regards to trading. And he also has his live mentorship program, which he will actually meet with you on a weekly basis, go over your trades, and this will obviously include this private program over here. So with that all in mind, I'd like to wish you the best once again. Take care, and until next time.